Hey artsies, Althea here. So I hope you had a great week drawing. So today I'm going to show you how you get from here to here. So stay tuned, and after the intro we will hop right in and start painting. So okay, just before we start, remember to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the little bell so that you don't miss a thing every time I post a new video. And please give me a thumbs up if you like my videos. I would really appreciate it. And yes, leave me some comments and we can chat a bit. So okay, let's hop in and start painting. Like I said, I'm going to start with my background and work my way forward. So this set actually gives you a variety of yellows. It does actually give you a green that's already mixed, and then it gives you two kinds of reds, two kinds of blues, your white and your raw umber, which is a very nice brown color that we are going to use, because it is quite difficult sometimes to mix your brown. Okay, so I'm going to start with my background and then work my way forward. So I'm using now cadmium red here, and I'm using cadmium yellow. So you have your basic colors, and then okay, so I'm going to quickly mix. Like you can see, I put in the background colors, all the background colors I put in. Now I'm going to start working with all the flowers, all the leaves and flowers that's in the back. So I'm going to first put them in. So everything that is not in front that I'm going to work with, I'm going to first put in. So I'm going to mix my greens. So this is phyllo green. I'll mix a couple of greens, so you can see. So I'm going to mix one green, and then I'm going to make it darker and lighter. So I have my different values of greens. Like I told you in the first lesson, if you haven't watched my lesson on values and shading, I recommend you do that before starting to paint and stuff, to practice your values, because that you are going to need that to understand what I mean when I say the values. Okay, so I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to mix my green with a little. So like I said, I'm going to make a couple of different values. So this green, I'm going to mix with a little bit of I'm going to put in yellow, so I'm going to make a more yellowish green on this side, and then I'm going to put white here, and then I just put a little bit of that in this white. Now I've got a very light green. Now I'm going to take this light green, I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to put in a little bit more of this green to make it a little bit darker than that green, but still lighter than that one. So you see I have the different values of the green there. And now I'm going to also take a little bit of this, and I'm going to make it a little bit darker. See, now it's darker than that one. Now I've got different values of green. Now I can start. So I'm going to start putting my darker green in. Oh yeah, what I forgot to tell you is when you paint the background and you go here and there over the lines, please don't worry about that, because you are going over. That's why you work from back to front, because like here I'm going to put my table over my background, and then you're going to see that the background is behind the table. So please don't worry too much about that. I want an even darker green, so I'm going to put in more blue with my green, so I have even a darker one than I do there. Okay, so for these kind of areas, and even when you now do this, when you paint, you can go bigger and bolder, because you're going to put the light over this. I'm using a bigger brush. Like I've previously said, it is for time purposes mostly, but if you have more time, you obviously have more time and to practice, you can use a smaller brush if that would help you. The nice thing about using the big brush is it makes you a little bit more looser, or for me it does, and that's my opinion. So now I really look and see where's my darker colors, and then I put them in. Like now I can see down here in that area there, I have a darker lily pad, so I'll put that one in, and there I've got a darker one. And the lily pad you can really put in by hand. I mean, it's just little circles, and you're not doing a realistic painting. So I mean, just keep that childish outlook on life with you when you paint, because a lot of adults we wish we still have that, and we have to work to gain it again. So there, I'll put a little bit of this in as well. Okay, now I'm going to do my lighter green, so I'm going a little bit lighter now and put it on the side there. So you can immediately see shading starting to happen when you work with your values like this. You see there I missed a dark piece, so I'm just going to put that dark piece in over there. Okay, just clean my brush. I'm gonna forward the video now again. I won't take you off, but I'm gonna forward the video because I think you get the idea of putting the light next to the dark. Let me just, before I do that, show you when I go way lighter and put this in here. I'm just gonna do this leaf then for you. Okay, now you can start following the lines of a leaf, just so you can get that feeling that the leaf goes around here. And then you can see it's got yellow in, so you can put your yellow lines over that, so you have that effect of the yellow lines over that. Okay, so that is basically what I want you to do now. Put in all the leaves. So I'm going to put in my leaves and then I'll be back. Okay, artsies, so now the next step is to bring in the table, because the table is actually behind, or the fishbowl is standing on the table, so basically the table is going to be more on the behind. So I have a kind of an orange there, so I'm going to make it a little bit darker. Okay, so I just decided. I decided to start with a clean palette. Just to recap quickly, here I have cadmium. Cadmium red, cerulean blue, ultramarine blue. I've got phthalo green. Then I have on this side I've got raw amber, yellow ochre, and cadmium yellow, and then titanium white. So I decided we could just gonna start with a new palette when we're gonna do this fishbowl, and I still need to put in the legs of the table. So okay, let's look at our picture. So like I said, we're gonna work from behind forward. So now we're going to look at our water. I know the fish are in the water, but I'm going to do my first layer, putting in the water first, and then I'll put the fish in, and then I'll do my second layer. Remember, you can always layer and layer and layer until you're happy with that. So if we look at our picture, the water seems a lot yellow. There's a lot of green in the water. There you do see a little bit of blue coming through, and then here you see a lot of yellow again. So let me quickly mix that yellow, and then we can start putting that in. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow ochre in for the top part. Looks a little bit darker for me, so I'm going to use this to put the top part in. Remember, you go over that line, don't leave it just there. Remember, this is just your first layer, so try to go over the lines. So going over the lines does not really matter. Sometimes you do struggle to cover your sketch lines, so you can actually, if you want to, you can take them out and just let them be a lot softer there, because sometimes you really, with acrylic paint, you really struggle sometimes to get your sketching lines out. So I'm going to do this with the fish. I'm going to make their lines. I'm just going to rub them out a little bit more, especially these lines, the crisscross with my scale lines. I really don't want the scale lines to show off in the water. But see, I can still see the outlines of my fish, so they're still there, so I'm not erasing them completely. And now my lines are so much lighter, and then I'm not going to struggle so much. That part is a little bit orange, so I'm going to put in a little bit of, oh, look at me, a little bit, and then I put a lot. Okay, so this part is actually a bit orange. Sorry, I didn't show you. See, that part is a little bit orange. And then we can use this yellow for, did I erase my circle now? I did. Okay, so that's going to be my circle down below here. I'm going to come. See, that's why I said do the first layer first, and then you can put your fish in. It doesn't matter if you go over the lines, because you're going to put your fish over that in again. If you do feel uncomfortable to take your fish, you don't have to do it as light as I did. You can always keep them there. So I'm just putting a solid color for my underlayer. We will do the blending and stuff. I will show you how to do the blending. So this is basically just the underlayer, and then we will do the shading and blending on top of this. Okay, now we do see a little bit of yellow in here that is going to shine through the more green. So I'm going to put them in here and there. I'm going to put my, ooh, sorry, almost bumped over my water. So I'm going to put that in, and then I'm going to, luckily this paint dries very quickly, and then I'm going to put the green over this now. Okay, let's mix that green so it's more a yellowish green. And actually take some of this and mix it in here. It's got a little bit of an ochre kind of backdrop for me, so I'm going to put in a little bit of yellow ochre in here as well. So it make it more like a little bit, take it more like a natural green. And then I'll put some of the dark in, but I actually want a lighter color over it. So I will put in a little bit of the dark, and then I'm going to go over that with the lighter one. Like here it's really dark. You see there it's really dark, so I'm going to put in that piece of green there. You see I'm going over the yellow, and it still will shine through. Now I'm going to make my green a little bit lighter. Filling in all the spaces. I'm still letting the yellow shine through here and there, but I am covering it with the green. And then you can see on the picture there's some little yet lighter green in the darker green, so I'll put that in. I'm going to dry my brush a little bit and do some dry brushing just to cover that part there. I hope if I keep my brush like this you guys can see. Okay, and now this part of the water here is so much lighter, so I'm going to even make my green more light. I'm just going to put in, there's a little bit this color on this side, so I'll put that in, and then I'll go over that with even more lighter green. So I'm going to add more white to my green. I've got a nice and light one, and then I'll put that in there. Okay, you can just dab it here and there. Remember, it is water, so it is moving, so you're not going to have this solid base color there. And yeah, with the two get together, it's so much lighter. But that's actually a little bit more blue, so I am going to put in a little bit more blue there. See, now that yellow is already dry, and I can just dry brush over that with the green, bringing that down a bit. And see over that yellow as well. But but you can see my yellow come through, but I do see a little bit of a lighter yellow there, so I'm going to mix a little bit of white with my yellow just to give it a light yellow color, and then I'm going to just put that in here and there in the water for variation, just like that, not too much, and then just dry brush it to blend it in a little bit better. Okay, and even here I'll put in a little bit of it and just let it just fade in a little bit. And there's a little bit of white just to accent that, and we have a little bit of pure white coming down here, a little bit of the reflection of the glass. Okay, now like I said, I'm going to put in a little bit of blue here. For this I am going to use the Persian blue. I'm going to mix it with the lighter green there. So I'm going to steal a little bit of my lighter green. I'm going to put a little bit more white in, just to tone it down a bit. But you can see the green reflecting in the, you can see that it's a more greenish blue than that blue. Okay, now this I'm going to put in the bottom here, over that, and on that side as well. And then this color, this blue color, I'm just going to use that at the top. I'm going to put some of the blue in there for the frame of the vase or the fishbowl. And then I'm going to put a little bit more white in the blue, make it even lighter, just for the accent part on the rim of the vase. I'm just dabbing it a bit so I don't take too much paint, and then like there. See what that does? It really just brings it out a bit. So you have that darker one with the lighter one coming in, and you can even put a little bit of this in here. To accent the frame, the vase. Did you see a darker line there with the shadow that will form there? That I'm going to do with my little bit of brown mixed with yellow ochre. I can even go darker. Just see if we touch here and there with just the brown. Just be careful, like I said, just touch. And you can even do that like at the bottom part of your rim there. Okay. Okay, so if you're happy with your water for now, I want to put in a little bit yellow there. And I want to bring the blue in a little bit more down. And I want it a little more light here. So just let your eyes catch the light and just put the light in as you see it. And just play around with the color, layer it and until you have what you want. Now I'm going to put the fish in. So I'm going to mix like a really dark orange. I think I did put in too much there. Grab a little by little. So I'm going to use like this dark orange for the base color of all the fish, and then I will shade them as we go. I'm going to basically just put the basic color on the fish. This one that's sticking out here. For now it looks like this fish has something wrong with it, but with the shading that you will put in, you will be able to see that it is actually two different fishes. So let me do that quickly. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the red and mix it more with so I have a darker orange like you can see there. So this fish is going to have the bottom fish is going to catch the top fish shadow over here. So I'm just going to put the shadow there, and then you can definitely see that there's more than one fish. Okay, so now I'll put this one in. Remember, Matisse was impressionistic, or more impressionistic, or Vogue, sorry, I'm just concentrating. His style, so it's not realistical. And that's the thing. It's just basically a suggestion of there is a fish, there is a fish bowl. So your eyes do see the different objects, but it's not realistically. It's not like I'm trying to replicate the fish and the table, and everything is not necessarily in proportion or exactly on the right scale like the table. I mean, you can see this is a big table with little legs, stuff like that. So you don't need to be so precise when you use this style in your artwork. I actually do prefer the more impressionistic style of art. See, I'm just putting a little bit of shadow on certain parts of the fish. Obviously the light is going to catch that one on the top, so I'll make him a little bit lighter there. Okay, now you can see the reflection of these fish at the top of the water, so I'm just going to put that in. That's basically just your ovals. that you put in. I'm just going to put the white dots for the eyes in quickly, and then I'll later would put in the more the detail. So I'm going to use a brush with a very sharp point to do this. So I'm just going to like dab my white in there. You can always shade them out a bit if they're too white for you, but for now I'm just going to leave them so they can dry a bit. Okay, let's put the table's legs in. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to mix the green with the blue. I'm just going to take another brush. So here we have that blue color already. So I'm just mixing, because there's already white. I needed white and blue, and I remember that was the white and the blue, so I'm just mixing it. Now it seems a little bit dark for me, so I'm gonna add a little bit of white here to turn it down a bit. Such a nice color. Light over this. I'm gonna cut this green here, what you're gonna use to put that accents in there, just to roughly put that over there. Just put in some highlights. Let your eye tell you where the highlights is. Working off the masters, I already put it in, so it is easy to know. Okay, you have some light here and you have some light there. That makes it a little bit easier. If you have your own painting, you have to think where the light comes from. But that I will teach you in another lesson. I'm just going to put the little lighter lines in here now that this is completely dry. The one with the sharper point to help me put those lighter shadings in here. even lighter one. More of this yellow ochreish blue. I'll put that in. Yeah. Okay. Huh. Seems like I needed more. Light. It's not white, but you do have want to tone it down a little bit more. But now you don't want to drag it down, or you still want to accent the parts. You'll see in a lot of Matisse's work, he would like outline a lot of his stuff. I will do an exercise with you where we do the outlining. So after you've drawn it, after you've painted and drawn it, you take like a mark. You can take a marker and then you can actually outline it and putting back your detail in, but not for this painting. But I mean, I will do something similar. But he actually did outline some of his work. So basically, what I did there with the white won't bother, because it is basically a style that he did, a technique, not a style, a technique that he did implemented in his work. So it is very Matisse-like to do. While I have this, you can always like go back, put some extra highlights on your lilies. Like if you look closely to the picture, you'll see it looks almost like some of the lilies have like this little outline around them, and then you can also do that with your lilies, if that is the effect you want. So I'm just doing it so you can see it, and my hand is loose, so I'm not making like a round circle. I'm trying to follow more the line of that typically lilies. So okay, like I said, you can even see here on the side of this table, it's a lot lighter. But okay, you're gonna just, what I want you to do is layer your painting until you're happy. Remember, as soon as your paint is dry and you're still not happy, put another layer over it. Certain parts like the leaves, just layer it until you are happy about it. I'll quickly put in the flowers here, and then I will do some more painting, but that part I think I'm gonna forward so that we don't mess your, I don't want to waste your time with all of that. But then you can actually see how I go back when everything is dry and do a bit of layers. So like the pink we're gonna mix with red and white. I'll put in my red. Okay, now look at the shape of the flowers, and then you can like just make it like a little organic and put your first flowers in, and then it's not like a tube, it's like these hanging, what do you call those flowers? It looks like they hang, the petals hang like this. It's more like that. This one's like all over the place, like a little star. This one I have a leaf going there, and then it hangs down here. in just like this, else I get too realistic, and then my work end up being too realistic. So if I use only my brush and I forget about all the detail, I tend to do better. So now I'm going to just put a darker color over to accent certain parts of the flower, and like with everything, I'm just going to layer the flowers as well. So I'll put light and dark in until I'm having a flowery shape. So I will keep on painting so you can see what I'm doing, but like I said, I am going to forward the video for time consume. And then while I have it, I'm going to put in some flowers down here as well. I'm just going to like dab them like this, put in one there, and about here is another blue one. Oh, blue. What? No, please, no blue. Pinkish reddish one, and there you have another one. Okay, so now I'm just gonna layer and layer and layer until I'm happy with what I'm having on my paper. So like I said, I'm gonna forward it a bit, but I will keep on filming so that you can see what I'm doing. to draw these little, this plant and that plant in. So I quickly draw them in, but we'll see if I can put them in. If I struggle, I have a way to do it. I'm going to start with this one and see how it goes. So I'm going to mix my, luckily this is like also like an orange. Just a darker kind of orange. Yellow is a bit transparent, so I'm going to mix it with white to make it so it's not transparent anymore. It's going to be lighter now, but I will put in the darker shade over the light, and then you will get that the more 3D. So I'm just going to put in with the light color now, and then I will come in with my shading. Making it more 3D. Let me grab some green. Okay, just mix a little bit of green in with my yellow. See a little bit of green here. A little bit darker. And then as soon as this is dry, I can put in a little bit more darker yellow over this. See, now now you can actually see, because of the white that I put in. When I put this yellow greenish color over, now you can actually see it and it's not transparent anymore. So I think you can see the big difference there. Okay, so now this is that darker color I want to mix. So I'm gonna take my ultramarine blue, and I'm gonna mix that with my raw umber. So if you mix your ultramarine with your raw umber, you're gonna get that dark color. That I use on the background as well. Okay, and now this color I want to, with a dry brush, just put in shading down here with the same color. Okay, now we have that in. And now I do see a little bit of shading on this leaf here that I would put in. Rather put that in a little bit of green, and then I will go over with my yellow. There you go. And that I also just want to put in a little bit of shading there, and then I do want to put in a little bit more yellow, just a little bit more shading there. And a little bit more of my stronger yellow here. Okay, so that looks better. Okay, now for this one, let's put this little one in. So firstly I'm going to do the dark orange there, then it's got a little there, then okay, so now I need my green. I'm gonna mix my green with a little bit of yellow ochre to give it a more natural kind of green. Okay, and then I'm gonna put this leaf in. Oh, I actually first must put my pot in because it's at the back. Okay, I'll put the pot in now. Before I put the next layer in. So this pot is also like this orange color. Wait. I did not clean my brush. And I've got green on my pot. Actually don't want that green there. But you can always use it for shading. And the blonde green can reflect on the pot as well. I'll wait till it's a little bit drier and then I'll fix that. So let me quickly just put the base green on all the leaves. Do you see this? This sometimes happens when you put something over something else, when you're working with acrylic paint. Especially if you go from a lighter color to a darker color, you keep on having that line. Now, I'm not a total expert, or I won't say I'm a total expert on acrylic paint because I normally work with oil paint. But what I've seen is if I made a mistake like this and I forgot to draw something in and I want to put it over, just to put a layer of white in, and let it dry and then go over it with my colors again, then it tends to fix that problem. But I will see if I go over with a lighter color if I can fix that problem, if I put in a little bit of white, and then let's see if I can do that, if I can fix it, if I put in into my green and then I'll let it dry and then I'll put another darker layer over it. So let's do that and see if we can fix that problem. Then I'm actually glad that I did forget to put this in, because then I can actually give you a tip on how to fix that problem. That our neighbors are redoing the inside of their house, and then sometimes I try to block out all the outside noise, but like now it just came in, but I think I fixed the problem, so hopefully that loud noise will not disturb us again. Okay, so like I said, I'll just put in a little bit of white over this. So because I don't want to see the line, because you must remember this leaf is actually going over that line of the table, so you're not supposed to see the line. But if I put in a little bit of light, I bet you I can fix that problem. Just follow the leaves, and with the layering, over layering, I mean, then eventually you will fix the problem in any case. So okay, so now that little flower up there, I'm going to do that with white, and then I'll go over with the shading. So I'm just going to put it in totally white now, and then we will shade it down a bit. Okay, what I did now is I mixed a little bit of that dark color that I had with a little bit of yellow ochre and my green, so I can get a darker green. So I'm using a little bit of that darker color. That, remember, I mixed the darker color, the blue and the brown, with each other, the ultramarine. So now I'm using that to give me a darker green. You see the nice green that gives you. And now I'm just layering over that, bringing some definition into my leaves again. You see, the problem is solved. No more table lines sticking out there. Color for the little flower. Okay, so problem fixed. So glad. Okay, now you have your 2 pots in. So yeah, so like I said, what you can do now is you can just take it and layer and layer and layer until you're happy with your end result. So just keep on layering, work with it when it's dry, keep on putting layers in until you're very happy with what you have. So now we can put the two together, the geometrical shape one with the organic shape one, and this one must remember it's going to look better because we also put everything into proportion. So let's see the difference. Let me put them together and see, so I can show you the difference between the two. So I bet you guys can definitely see the difference between the two paintings. It was a good eye exercise, so you can definitely see the difference between geometrical shapes and organic shapes, and I love that to do this exercise with any beginners, because it really just tests your eyes and it really helps you to see shapes and put them all together. And yeah, And then the other thing is you have learned how to put a painting into proportions and mix colors. So I think this was a very good exercise to begin with. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next week we are going to paint with scissors. So I'm very excited about it. We're going to have so much fun. So yes, you can have a A3 board. If you want, you can take a colored board. I prefer taking a white board, and then have some pieces of A4 or A3, depending on how big you want to go. Different kinds colors, different colors. Yeah, have a couple of different colors of paper as well, and then I'm going to teach you how to paint with scissors. So please remember to subscribe to my channel. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to ring the little bell so that you don't miss a thing every time I post a new video. So have a great week painting, arties, and I'll see you next week.